The Arkansas River is one of the most underappreciated rivers in all of America. It is home to a great diversity of fish, tons of different species, and some true monsters live there. Here in Tulsa, a lot of times the Arkansas River is looked down upon because a lot of times it is very shallow and people perceive it as dirty, even though the testing has shown that it is one of the cleaner rivers around. It's also designed to be shallow. It's a prairie river, meaning that it runs through with these channels with lots of sandbars all around them. It is not designed to be a high-flowing, very wide river. Now, during times of flood, this happens really every year. It does turn into that for a while, but then it drops down to a much more shallow, flowing river with holes and runs. But in those holes hold incredible fish. And over the years, I have caught 28 different kinds of species, 28 different species from that river right here in Tulsa alone. And I've caught huge fish, not just little bitty fish, huge fish. So what I'm going to show you today is going back over the years. Before I started YouTube, I have lots of footage of incredible fish that I've caught from the Arkansas River right here, 15 minutes from my house is where I've caught all of these fish. So you're going to see only footage from the Arkansas River here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So let's go on a little river adventure and take a look underneath the water, because we'll have some underwater footage of what nobody knows is really living there. People right here in Tulsa drive over it every single day and have no clue what is below. So let's take a trip here in Tulsa, Oklahoma to the Arkansas River.
Oh my gosh.
There it is. It's as big as me.
Now this first clip that I'm going to show you is one of those floods that I was talking about. What had happened is an extreme rain in the springtime had come through and really muddied up the water. But they were actually holding back water from the dam because the downstream flooding was so bad. So all the water that's coming through was simply creek runoff, stained water, so I could still wade out in the water because it hadn't reached any flood stage yet. But massive schools of fish were coming in from all over the place, every kind of species you could imagine, and fish were everywhere to where I was literally stepping on them. It's a really weird scene. It only happened one day ever. I've never experienced anything like it since. So let's head to the river and see myself stepping on fish.
There's fish everywhere. There's fish everywhere. I think I got some shad. I'm stepping on fish. Every step is stepping on fish. What in the world? They're all right here. They're all right here. It's just fish. It's solid fish.
This next clip is of a flathead catfish. This fish was out of the water for a really long time, and it doesn't matter because catfish are generally very hardy, but flatheads, for whatever reason in my experience, are the hardiest of them all. You could keep them out, I don't do this, but you could probably keep them out even on a hot day for 30 minutes and they'd be just fine. So this one's probably more out for 5 minutes or so, which would kill a lot of fish. But flatheads are very hardy fish and it just doesn't happen. But this is one of the most beautiful flatheads I've ever come across. So let's head to the river and take a look at it.
I've been telling Lauren I want an Amazon red tail forever.
They are awesome. That's weird. Like when you grab him, he hates it. But when you just do that, he's like, okay, you're cool. So
this
sick.
is perfect right here because you need oxygen coming through.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Look,
So sick.
Sneaky.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna back out of here. What do you think that is?
I'm thinking he got the fight.
Partially healed though. Let's see.
See that, or it could be last spawn. No, probably healed up the last.
Yeah, there's some scar.
Or it could be the concrete down there.
Okay. Yeah, it's like only partially healed.
Yeah.
So sweet. All right, we're gonna let you go. Okay. Bye bye. I mean, it's like it has a personality.
Yep.
I really like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can ever eat catfish again. It just ruined it for me. Tilapia only. Just for you, buddy.
Inkling today. I was like, I might keep catfish and bring it home and cut it because I do like it.
Yeah. All right. All right, Gary, you wanna let it go?
Yeah, I'll let it go.
You're free. Go for it. Ah, it's majestic.
Speaking of flatheads, I get a little more ramped up than I normally do in this next clip because I was extremely pumped up about what happened. I caught a 32-pound flathead on 12-pound line with a small rod and reel on a single night crawler in the middle of the day on a hot August day. The odds of even hooking that were slim. They're normally not super active that time of day in August. And the odds of landing it were even less. I mean, he'd go off on these huge runs, and then I'd have to take the drag and loosen it a lot, and then I'd tighten it back just a little bit to try to get a little line back. We went back and forth for, I don't know, 20 minutes. It was a long time. And again, this flathead was out of the water a really long time. And again, it didn't matter because they're such a hardy fish. So again, I get a little more pumped up than I normally do here in this clip.
Oh my goodness. Look at this beast on 12-pound line. Look at this thing. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right, here he is. Look at this beast.
Like I mentioned earlier, flatheads are very hardy fish. This fish had been out of the water for a long time, so I'm just dragging it over to the water's edge and going to revive it.
There you go. Look at this thing. It's a beast. Gotta get it deep in water somehow. Shallow right here.
I've got another clip of a flood. Whenever it floods, it makes fishing very difficult. And this was, the water was so high that I had to fish a creek mouth to catch this fish because you couldn't fish the main channel. You just get washed out. The current was insane. So I had to fish a creek channel right where it met the river. And I wasn't expecting to catch anything because the water was so incredibly high. And I only caught one fish that day, but man, was it a great fish.
Here it is.
Now this next clip is an interesting clip where I come across two paddlefish stranded in the river. This is after months of flooding that same year of the clip that you just saw. This is 2019. Months of flooding, it finally dropped, and it's normally very difficult to catch these paddlefish by hand, but on this particular day, I don't know what was going on with these paddlefish. They didn't want to move, So I came across two, and my first time coming across paddlefish in a long, long time. So I was really excited to come across these. There we go, freezing cold water. Big drop off. Just two little guys here. I'm gonna go with a slightly bigger one. To me, the most iconic fish of the Arkansas River here in Tulsa is the paddlefish. So let's go take a look at some clips of paddlefish filmed right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma that I caught by hand. Here it is, made the trip. Caught them by hand. Oh, oh man, there he is. Crazy looking fish. Oh man. The sun is a little better, I think. Look at that. That'd be better light. There it is. Oh man. This particular paddlefish was really, really beat up. You can see the marks all over him from lines and jigs that had gotten into him. So the line had really made these big creases and gashes, and you see a gash near his fin, which was from a hook. So he's really, really beat up. So I'm trying to revive this fish. Like I said, he's really, really beat up, but he did okay. Even though he's in the shallow water with not a lot of oxygen, and he's bruised and beaten, most of it was just flesh wound. So he really was okay. So I was just trying to get some oxygen by moving him back and forth in the water, getting oxygen through his gills, and he ended up swimming away just fine. But it did take a while because he was one beat up, but I think pretty old fish, because this was a beast at about 60 to 70 pounds. I'm going to show you a video of releasing a paddlefish. Unlike the flathead catfish, the paddlefish is not that hardy, especially in the warm summer months. They don't do real well. In the cooler months, they do okay. But in the summer months, which is mostly when I'm catching them by hand, in those warmer months, they don't do real well out of the water for very long. So you have to revive them. So I'm going to show you a clip. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it's kind of longer. Just kind of rocking one back and forth. It's not a real close-up shot, but you'll get the idea. I'm just trying to run the water back and forth through the gills of this paddlefish. They tend to not be that hardy, so they need a little help to recover. So I'm just going back and forth, getting the water into their gills and back out. Sometimes you have to do this for several minutes. Sometimes they recover very quickly. Other times, I think in this particular case, it took 2 or 3 minutes, so it sped up the footage. It may have even taken 3 or 4 minutes. And sometimes they kind of roll over onto their side and look like they're not going to make it. And it's just about propping them back up, getting them going into some oxygen, right on the edge of the current where they're getting some oxygen, but not so much current that it's going to wipe them out where they have no energy. So keeping them in the slack water, but close to the flowing water. All right, I hope you enjoy this little trip to the Arkansas River to see all the diversity of fish that are there. I only covered a fraction of the amount of fish that are in there, but just to give you a little taste of what the Arkansas River is like, just right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Arkansas River runs forever. It starts somewhere in Colorado as a little mountain stream, flows out of Colorado through Kansas, into Oklahoma, through Arkansas, and then eventually meets the Mississippi River, which flows on out to the coast. It's a pretty awesome, diverse, healthy river that I think is one of the more, maybe the most underappreciated river in all of America. But that's just my opinion. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and God bless.